fellas, I wanted just to remind you about something. I did a recent thing with the deanery here on the west side, the pro-gay group. And in the talk, I try to make, at least by implication, a distinction between two things which I think are very important in the pursuit of chastity. I said there is a distinction between suppression and repression, because we're always talking about you're also repressed with your sex, you're such repressed people. I said, gentlemen, suppression means you consciously, deliberately, with full knowledge decide this is what you will do, and you attempt to do that. Repression is something which is unconscious. You don't even know you're doing it because you're afraid to face something, you're uncomfortable with it, so you push it down, don't even look at it. So when we talk about chastity, it's that you guys are all repressed. You're all afraid of looking at your sexuality. And I have to say, Barbara Streisand. Because what people do who pursue chastity properly are saying, I deliberately, consciously, with full intent, pursue this virtue under God. I know what I am doing. It is not that I am afraid or disgusted with it. I want to do it. That's suppression. Repression is, I don't want to even look at it, I'm scared to death. Like in Bob's recent email which he circulated, they mentioned about Saint Joseph, our chaste spouse. You know, my gripe, I think that art has made Saint Joseph a bad guy. I always keep depicting him as if he's 96 years old, all bent over, totally desiccated, and he has no real sexual feeling whatever. And I argue that St. Joseph was a strong, young, virile, heavily loaded with testosterone, and he was in love with this beautiful girl. This is a beautiful woman. And what young guy, especially if he's Jewish, I would say, I don't want to touch her. And I am arguing that St. Joseph could have had all of these feelings, all of these sex feelings, say, I want to touch this gal, she's my wife. But he said, no. He uses suppression. It is not repression, it is suppression. It's a conscious thing that a person does. I decide, and I want to do this, and I know what I'm doing. Not the caricature you find in the New York Times. You guys are so afraid of sex, you become, courage people. That's not true. These people here have decided, we read that first goal, which is to live chaste lives in accordance with the Roman Catholic Church's teaching on what? On homosexuality. It's a deliberate decision to be chaste, no matter what the difficulties are. You're not afraid of this. You guys come here freely. Jim read about liberty, right? You gotta be free. You guys come freely every week because you want to do something. So I suggest to you, under God, grace, the cross, God's love, and the church and all of that, you make the choice. And you say, I want to be chaste, and I will do everything I can to be chaste. So you are using the virtue, I call it virtue, psychological virtue, of suppression. You're not afraid of it. You're doing it for a very high reason. It's conscious. So but they argue that you guys are just a bunch of frightened guys. You're not. You are deliberately doing something for the sake of God and yourself, fully conscious. So you are suppressors. Anybody who fights temptation in the proper way uses suppression. He doesn't do it because he's afraid of it or disgusted. I do it because he says he wants us to do it, and we will do whatever he wants. So, real difference. I hope you guys will never mistake suppression from repression. That's a game. Thank you.